Bring him in. Bring on in the damn Reaper. Robert Whittaker coming back to try to regain that middleweight gold Saturday, February 12th, Houston. It's UFC 271. And your old buddy, Israel Adesanya. Robert Whittaker, it's a pleasure to talk to you. You never get fired up for interviews, so I feel it's like a challenge. I got to try to like cattle prod you and get you fired up for this, all right?
Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Look, big time fight and a big time turnaround on this win streak. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished. Do you think it's fair to say right now you're a better fighter than you were heading into the first Adesanya fight in 2019?
Yeah, without a doubt. If undergoing all the mental journeying I went through after that loss, just made me a better fighter. It made the whole process easier, which just made me a better fighter. And you can see that skill wise and performance wise in my last three fights that I'm just a better me now.
I mean, you go essentially 15 rounds against some of the top guys this loaded division has to offer, and each one made you kind of bring out a different skill set. I'm sure you wouldn't have planned it that way, but was that perfect in hindsight to sort of stretch all of your muscles ahead of really the biggest fight of your career, the second chance here?
Yeah, that's what I want to do career wise, as a mixed martial artist, is try and get closer to perfecting the art and the craft. And that's utilizing a complete skill set. So that's been my goal and drive in those last three fights. And yeah, I think I'm inching closer to that and I'm enjoying it.
When I look at the sort of I guess is personal turmoil the right word to say? All everything you had to go through physically, mentally, with the injuries, and then eventually losing your belt. The tough season in the wilderness that you've walked through and you're stronger from. What caused that? Is that wear and tear? What is that? Is it? I've heard sometimes you mention that it might be. You can look back at the lost Adesanya the first time and maybe say, you were in the wrong mindset, too cocky, whatever. What went wrong in sort of needing you to put it back on the track?
I think I was just run down a little bit. I think I was just a little burnout from the whole process. Training for fights, dealing with injuries, and all that jazz. I think it was just it was just a bit. I was just a bit run down. And I think it was time. That was a catalyst for me to sit back, take a breath, and work things out.
When you say a little rundown, I mean, you went 10 rounds of hell with Yoel Romero and came out with your hand raised. When you look back at that trial you had to endure, that's pretty serious, man. People aren't the same after doing that.
Yeah, that really took it out of me. That second fight was an absolute nightmare. So yeah, it took a lot out of me for sure.
Well, you're refurbished in so many ways, and I give you a lot of credit for that. So, how much are you carrying like revenge, retribution as sort of your motivating factor? You're normally so, you know, poised. To be fair, I mean, you've got that championship medal, but this one's got to be different, man. You got to have that extra chip on your shoulder to want to avenge this loss to this man.
No, and you see, I think that's the biggest change is that there isn't a chip, there isn't any of that revenge sort of drive. It's just another day in the office. I have the same mentality. It feels the exact same as the last three fights, and yeah, I'm going in there just to get my work done.
Okay, so then what was your mindset the first fight? Were you like, I'm gonna show this kid, I'm gonna teach him a lesson?
Yeah, that's exactly how it was. Much to Yeah, that's how it was. It was personal. It was about, yeah. It got too much. It started to consume me. The fight started consuming me. The media started to get to me, and everything just started building up.
What do you dislike about Israel Adesanya the most?
I nowadays I don't dislike him at all. He's just another guy doing his thing. We don't get along, but that's him doing him. I don't really think about it too much.
All right, you watched him attempt to move up to light heavyweight against Jan Blachowicz, a close fight, a very interesting tactical fight. There's some saying, hey, maybe Robert Whittaker used the performance of Blachowicz as the perfect, blueprint to take heading into this rematch. What were your thoughts about Izzy's attempt to be great and coming up short there? What'd you take away from that?
There are a lot of good things I saw Jan incorporate into his game. And there are a lot of things I saw that were effective against Adesanya. But you know that was Jan doing it. We're two very different fighters, two different weight classes, and that changes the dynamic for a lot of things. Um, you know, I'm going to just take the good from that fight and look to try and make it my own and just make Izzy uncomfortable.
Now, you know, when you look at Izzy, there's a lot to prepare for and game plan for. He's dynamic. How much focus do you have on his right nipple, though? Because the fans, they're focusing a lot on this, bro. I don't usually ask a grown man that, but what do you think of your opponent's nips?
Mate, that's an out there one. Honestly, I don't think about it too much.
I mean, how do you explain it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
All right. All right. I hope he's okay, though, at the end. I hope he's okay. Look, you know, there's the retribution angle, which you're not biting down on, and I respect that. Just another fight, a feeling. But you got to think about what a win here adds on to your legacy. That's got to be a thought in your mind. You are one of the greatest 185-pound fighters in the history of this sport, but you go back in there and claim that shit back against that fella. I mean, we're gonna, you know, you put on the big boy pants a little bit tighter, right? I mean, come on, man.
No, you know, honestly, just getting in there and being able to showcase what I've been working towards, and to come up with a result that, you know, we've all been aiming towards, it'll mean the world to me. But it is far out of my hands at the moment to try and to think about, you know, the result of such a hard fight. He is such a good fighter, and he beat me the first time. It'd be silly for me to start thinking about wins, you know, before the second dance happens.
Is it really hard when you're truly, you know, super elite and you're in the middle of it? I mean, you're in the midst of it. You live this shit. Is it hard to take the step back and look at, you know, how you do compare historically, or what this win means, or all that stuff? Is it sort of like, let me wait till I'm old and fat and then we'll do that shit?
Yeah, well, that's how I do that stuff. I don't really think about it too much. You know, don't let it get to my head. I just yeah, I take everything one fight at a time. I just look to keep getting better and just putting food on the table for my family.
All right, you're a family man and you're a serious competitor. You don't make a lot of headlines talking trash, not your style. You don't make a lot of headlines complaining, but when you see a contemporary, an elite champion in Francis Ngannou, and the walk he's going through publicly for fighters' rights, how do you respond when you watch that?
Mate, that is a tricky question. That is a tricky question because yeah, that's what do I even say? It's such a that's a loaded question. It's
Yeah, very loaded, very loaded. Yeah, I mean, way more loaded than the question about nipples. To be fair, it was wrapped a little
yeah,
tighter too. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Honestly, I don't have too much information on the whole matter at all. I've just been focusing on myself, focusing on the training, focusing on getting ready for the fight, because the fight's only a week and a bit away. And and I don't really keep myself up to date with the news and everything like that anyway. I kind of just hunker down in the room in the fort and just go along my way. So not
But
really
I mean,
yeah.
are you saying, you know, you're happy with what you've accomplished and the wage you're earning, and your battle is yours? Is that how you sort of look at it?
That's mate.
I mean, we can go back to nipples. I didn't want to take you down this long dark alley if you don't want to be there,
Yeah.
but it feels like this is a big point in history. That's what it feels like on the outside looking in. That change could be a coming. I don't know which side of the battle you're on, but I want to see you and everybody else get what they deserve. To be fair, Robert Whittaker, you know.
So do I. And if you're asking me if I want to get more money, then hell yeah. You know, that's a silly question. But as for how this is all going to play out, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I don't have enough information. I don't. Yeah, I can't speak on it right now.
You got to
It's
focus on the 271 paycheck and winning this fight and continuing your journey, which has been a great one. So when you do look at this fight, I see the ways that you have improved or evolved in your win streak since the first Adesanya fight. Do you think he has added enough through wins and losses in that same time?
to keep up with me and my skill set.
Yeah, I
Definitely
mean,
not.
you've evolved pretty quick, man.
I don't think. I think my skill sets are much more diverse than his, and I think I'm a better fighter. I do. I honestly do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be fighting him if I didn't have that confidence and belief that I can beat him. And yeah, I look to showcase that on the weekend.
Uh, what do you feel like has been, the biggest hurdle you've cleared in this career? Has it been the stuff you've won in the cage or the battles you've won outside of it with yourself, with, rebuilding, with all that? I mean, how do you sort of look at that?
Yeah, definitely the outside of the cage. It's the fighting and in my career in mixed martial arts has been the catalyst for a lot of changes for who I am as a person, and that effect of me changing as a man has made me like a better dad, a better husband, a better person, and that's much more valuable than my performances in the octagon, although they have been good too. So I'm lucky to have both.
You've got a, nearly impeccable professional record, especially since moving up to middleweight and sort of establishing yourself here. What's your record though in street fights? Could you handle yourself back in the day down under?
I got into scraps as all kids do, but yeah, they were only a bit of fun. They weren't anything too serious. Try to stay out of trouble, mate.
All right. When you enter the ring against Adesanya the second time, I could not be more fired. Seriously, this is matchup wise, stakes wise. This is a big ass deal. It's in Houston. Maybe you wanted it in a different place, but it's in Houston. That's where it's going to happen. What has to go right the most for you? Is there something that you're looking for? You're like, I got this thing. I got this thing locked in, because people are going to look from a distance and say, oh, all he has to do is take him down and he wins. But it's a lot more difficult than that.
Yeah, it's definitely not that easy. Otherwise, everybody would have done it already, right? It's honestly, I'm going to look to get in there and just execute my game plan. I think the game plan and my skill set is enough to beat him, and I have absolute confidence in that. So I look to get there Sunday night and just execute.
Does that have an angle, a method of victory, I must stop this man, or are you preferring if this goes 5 rounds and you can show how well rounded you actually are?
Honestly, I don't care how I get across the line, just that I do.
You've had enough time now, 2+ years, to think about what it would feel like to hear the "and new" or champion once again, however they're going to phrase it afterwards. Do you get emotional thinking about that?
Nah, because I never look past the fight. I never look at results that haven't happened, especially against a guy that beat me the first time. It would seem it would seem a little ridiculous for me to start thinking about victory speeches and how it would feel to win.
Oh, really? You don't envision the victory before it happens?
Yeah, I don't let myself. It's too hard of a fight.
Yeah.
It is going to be a tough fight. He is a high caliber opponent, and he beat me the first time. So I'm just going to get in there and I'm going to do my thing.
All right. It's been great talking to you, Robert Whittaker. Oh, real quick, just to please me, when Derek Brunson came on like a bat out of hell in the first round, that it was a weird fight, man. He went all or nothing. He went all in on the first hand. Were you
He
like, what
did.
the hell's wrong with this guy?
In saying that, yeah, and that's he did. He all in on, on that first hand, and most everybody up to that point hasn't been able to handle it. And it was the only overwhelming thing that I remember is that it was so tiring because he was going crazy. It was like it was attacking me like I stole something from him.
Yeah, yeah. He was like, you're gonna have to beat me to get me out of here, and you did that. You did that. Congratulations. This is the big deal. UFC 271, February 12th. Can't wait. Pay-per-view. Robert Whittaker, thank you for your time, and keep cashing them checks and making history, bro.
No, thank you very much, mate. Thanks for having me.